All right, player, introduce yourself and what did you do today?
My name is Rennick, and I just got first place at our locals here at the Dragon's Lair in Fort Myers.
All right, awesome. All right, whenever you're ready, show us your deck profile.
Alrighty. Started off with the monsters. Played the Naturia engine, 3 copies of Camilla, 3 copies of Cricket, and 1 Sunflower. Camilla is pretty much the best one that you want to see. It's the tuner, lets you get in all your synchro plays. Mole Cricket is effectively another copy of Camilla, whereas Sunflower is the Garnet. If you draw this card, you pretty much lose. There's really no way to get out of your hand aside from wasting one of your quick play spells. But Mole Cricket can revive itself for follow-up, and it's just another copy of Camilla. For the last 3 monsters, I play 1 Kelbeck, 1 Agido, and 1 Keldo. Just a small Ishizu engine. They are all at 1, so this is actually considered a pretty big one, but the millers are the most important. It helps for getting 1-ofs out of your opponent's deck, and the shufflers for putting back a Camilla, a trap, and a quick play whenever you need them in the grind. As for spells, starting with the Runick engine, played 2 copies of Fountain. It's the best card in the Runick engine, lets you draw up to 3 cards a turn. It's a soft once per turn, so you draw 6 cards quite often. 3 copies of Tip, lets you search any Runick card. 3 copies of Freezing, it's a Chalice and banishes the top 3. This is one of the best ones for decking out. 3 copies of Flashing Fire for destroying monsters, 3 MST as Destruction, 3 Slumber. This is really useful, actually, when I find myself going into the most to protect the Sunflower, because this thing has 0 defense. So preventing an attack on your Sunflower really helps. And the last one's 1 Dispelling and 1 Smiting Storm, just for extra names. This one actually comes up quite a bit for decking out, but this one I've almost never used for its actual effects. For these here, 3 Naturia Blessing. This is a quick play Monster Reborn, quick play Synchro Summon, and quick play Fusion Summon. We don't play any fusions that we can actually make with it, but the Synchro effect comes up to dodge impermanent stuff, whereas the Reborn effect is what it's normally used for, just to get Camilla's back from the grave, Mole Cricket's back from the grave. You can even bring back the extra deck Synchros, so Naturia Beast and Barkion. The last 2 spells, 1 Foolish Goods and 1 Triple Tack Talents. Foolish Goods is just another Naturia name because you can Foolish the Sacred Tree, and Talents is just the last one of. I had 1 spot left and I wanted something a little bit flexible. For traps, 3 copies of Sacred Tree. This, if it's sent to the grave for any reason, you can search for a Naturia card and is not once per turn. So this is the best card to open with a Runick spell, so it's a free discard off of Hugging. And lastly, 3 copies of Evenly Matched. In the main deck, because every Runick spell is basically a second Evenly Matched, because each and every one of these can bait out a negate.
Yeah, not good when you're playing trap tricks.
Still a little bit salty.
Yeah.
As for the extra deck, for links, we just play the 1 copy of Donner. This is used to link off Ibli if it's given to us, but normally just to clear our extra monster zone for more Runick cards, as well as clearing one of our opponent's bodies or baiting a negate. Exceeds, 1 Exiton Knight, 1 Dugaris, and 1 Daguska. Exiton Knight only came up once since I've been playing this deck, and Dugaris comes up every other game, whereas Baguska is like every 3rd game. This is really good versus Sword Soul and Super Heavy Samurai, but versus other decks like Math Mech and sometimes even Kashtira, this just really isn't even that good. For Synchros, 1 Naturia Beast, 1 Naturia Barkion for spells and traps. Setting up a Camilla plus a Sunflower on your opponent's turn to immediately Synchro into a Barkion when it comes back to your turn to turn off all their trap cards just feels really nice. The 6s, a Coral Dragon and Charge Warrior. Coral Dragon is the tuner, Charge Warrior is not, but they both draw you a card, which is why we play those over some other random 6s. I'm also playing 1 copy of Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. I did not have to make this today. I almost did, but I couldn't get to it. But it's nice for nuking the board. It also deals burn damage, so it helps you close out games faster. For the 10s, 1 Baron and 1 Shengying. Baron is the one you normally go into as an Omni, but Shengying is good for outing towers and things that can't be targeted, as well as getting rid of graveyard stuff, because it vanishes from the graveyard. Runick engine, 2 Huggin and 2 Gary. I put Munin in the side to make room for the Hot Red Dragon. So that's out there, but Huggin adds your field spell, Gary adds it back from the grave. This is level 2, this is level 4, and that gets you from your level 4 tuner all the way up to your level 10 synchro. And lastly, the side deck. I'm side decking 1 copy of Book of Moon because I had 1 side deck spot left, and I decided Book of Moon was a good card. It did come up like twice today. 3 copies of Terrors of the Overroot. I sided this in once, used it once, and it won me the game versus Manadome, Scareclaw, Synchro stuff. I don't know exactly what to call it, but it's spot removal that isn't a spell card, so it also helps play around stuff like Mad Beast and Spell Canceller. 3 copies of Judgment for going first. Just so we don't get Even Lead, Dark Ruler, and stuff like that. 2 copies of Kamungus and 2 copies of Kurakara. This deck has a hard time outing towers, so both of these let us get over them. This is really good for outing Spell Canceller because it never activates, so you can't Kurakara it. But this is really good for outing Baron, Appaloosa, Naturia Beast, and everything else, because once you're done getting rid of it, you can just take it back as your own. And then 2 copies of Magnemite, 1 Druid Swarm. So for the Mathmech matchup, and I guess if you run into a Drytron player, I guess. But it's mainly just for Mathmech. And the last card is the aforementioned Munin. It's good in time, but it's also really good for just the targeting protection. If you know your opponent plays Cosmic Cyclone, it can protect your field spell. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alright, awesome. I hope we learned something from this profile. Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to Team NAS, of course.
NAS? Okay.
NAS, that's us. This guy over here, the glorified best player on the team. Statistically best player on the team.
Yeah, where's the glasses at, Superman? You need your disguise.
I was trying today. No.
And another shout out to Sally here at the Dragon's Lair for hosting these events.
Alright, awesome. Alright, thank you, and hope you have a great night. Alright? Have a great one.